A bright but foggy and chilly weekend good morning, fellow reloaders. Reloading Bench back with you once again on this brisk morning. And this is not necessarily reloading related, but in the industry, as I would believe. But when I was growing up in the 70s, there was a show on PBS called This Old House. Used to love it. Bob Vila. Oh, that dude was so cheap. All he worried about was the cost of something. But all of the trades people on that show were just super, super high quality. And I think Norm spun off the New Yankee Workshop or Wood Shop or something like that. But anyway, the reason I'm referencing is This Old House is because today's video, or at least this portion of the video, which will definitely turn into a multi-segment, maybe one video with multiple segments, is this old scope. And this is a very old, as in 1970s. It's a Weaver V22. And this scope is right around 1970. So if you look at the V22, you'll see the older ones have the teardrop cover for your elevation and windage adjustments. So very, very cool. In fact, if you didn't know they were there, you'd be like, what's up? But just like any other scope. And the reason we're focusing on this old scope, which sits atop a very old 22, again, 1970 time frame, is because of that screw. So that bothers me. My OCD kicking in. So it's rusted, so it's been broken or missing for a long time. So half the slotted screw head, if this is even focusing, because of the way it focuses, I don't know if it's catching it. But my challenge is how to remove that screw. So I jumped on, I'm thinking somebody else has had to have had this problem, so I jump on YouTube. Every single video is about stripped screws, and usually Phillips or Torque screw heads that, you know, you drill out and then you use a reverse bit, a left turn bit. There's no room to work in here, and I don't want to drill anything, so I'm trying to preserve prosperity here. So I went ahead and found these they're called puzzle replacement rings, and these are 0.715 inches. There's the doggy making noise. 0.875, I'm sorry. They're called 0.875 size tip-offs, and they're puzzle. So unique, interesting in terms of scope mount, but the real challenge is going to be how to remove this. And some, just grab a pair of pliers and just twist that head. Really? There's no room, again, depending on how this is focusing. There's really not a lot of room to work in right here. So my concern, and why I ordered replacement rings, which when they show up, that'll be the next video, because it's hard to tell condition. These are in beautiful condition, you know, for being 50-ish, 53 years old. Very well taken care of. So, you know, ideally I'd like to preserve these and just figure out how to take this off. One of my initial ideas was, doggy's wearing his cone because he had surgery, so he's not happy with that cone bumping into everything. One of my ideas was, if I were to take this bottom mount off, that gives me access on this side to potentially, you know, again, I'll ruin the threads if I try to get in there, and there's, again, not a lot of working room in there. You know, my son's like, oh, cut it off with a Dremel, just slice it down here, or slice it up here, which is getting really close to the scope. Definitely don't want to F up the scope. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to attack this, but I'm going to wait for the replacements to see what condition they're in, and if they're, you know, as nice, then maybe I will sacrifice this puzzle piece of the scope, and if not, I don't know. But I'm trying to figure out what should I do. You know, bust out the blue tape and try and twist this off. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to get a good grip on that, in all honesty, again, without effing up the rest of it. So that is one of the challenges for today / this weekend. Hopefully the scope ring replacements will arrive, and I'll see what condition they're in and figure out the plan of attack. So more to come for sure. Later. And we are back. Hopefully this is what I think it is for segment number 2 of working on this unfortunate scope. So I've tried a few things, took the scope off obviously, and when I took this right side out with the correct size gunsmith bit, so you don't destroy a screw, the amount of torque and pressure I had to use for this, there's no way this is coming out in this condition. No way. So my only 2 options, and I did Kroll oil as well, are to potentially drill it from either the top, very dangerous, or the bottom, you know, easier to center the drill bit, or my working model right now, again, depending on hopefully what these rings look like, is to come in with a Dremel disc and cut that screw. So hopefully, you know, maybe I can put something between the screw, maybe something, yeah, that actually works. So maybe put a block between the tape up this, again, depending on what the new rings look like, and come in with a Dremel blade to cut that in half so that I can at least pop this off and then figure out next steps. So let's go ahead and do our unbagging of something that is roughly 50 plus years old, from 1970-ish. Might be time for a new blade. Very well packaged. Let's see, where's a seam? They're all over the place. Looks like we're just gonna come in through a particular side. He gets an A for packing. That's for darny sure. I hope the rings look as good as the packaging to protect them. Very nice. Super packing. There's a padded envelope. There was packing inside the envelope. Oh, these are gorgeous, it looks like. Double bagged to keep from... Ah, this guy is... Weaver. This guy is more OCD anal retentive. I'm assuming it's a guy. This person is more OCD anal retentive than am I. Let's see how nice they look. Yeah, these are as good, if not screws in better condition. These are as good, if not better, than this. So my concerns about cutting off, damaging this are now alleviated. That is a pleasant surprise because normally it's just the opposite. I remember a story about my radial arm saw, one of my radial arm saw restorations, revivals, not restoration, maybe. And yeah, this one's just as, this one's not quite as good, but the plate screws better, but this plate is better. So I think we'll use this one. So when I ordered a plastic housing, again, this is from the late 80s, early 90s, so you know it's not going to be new condition. And the guy took picture, the person took pictures. I would call it deceptively, since I grew up doing photography, 35mm photography, and then digital when I was younger, and you know, everything had shadows, and the reason it had shadows is because once I unboxed it, and I have a habit of, as now, unboxing, unbagging live when I buy something, because if there's a return or non-return and it needs to be disputed, I've got now unboxing evidence that, hey, I didn't F this up. And the stuff was so effed up in terms of damage, just really ridiculous. The pictures did not do it justice. So I wanted my money back, and he said, "Oh, how about if I offer you 20% back?" I'm like, "No, you were deceptive." And I disputed it with eBay, and then opened a case, and he immediately. So one of his first responses to me was, "What do you expect for something that's 40 years old? Of course it's going to have scratches." I'm like, "Yeah, scratches are one thing. The damage that you hid is a completely different." So when I opened the case with eBay, his response to eBay was that I damaged the goods and sent them back. So I had my video and picture proof of how they arrived, and case settled. Yeah, it's amazing how deceptive some people can be. So, all right, I'm going to stop babbling now, and I'm going to start dremeling, and I'm not going to do that on screen because I'm going to have to probably lock this into the vise very gently with my rubber grips, and just so that it stays in front of me. Tape the shizzle out of it and see what happens. So the next segment will be either me really pissed off for damaging things, or me happy because I can put this ring on now. So more to come. Back soon. And we are back as expected. Even with all the taping and whatnot, this this set of rings was sacrificed because there's just no way for me and my limited skills to get a clean cut without damaging the tube. So this was sacrificed. A little piece of the, I should save this for posterity's sake. Holy shit, this was a little pain in the ass. And ridiculously expensive to replace, considering the age. So we will take the new ring, the new old ring. We will use the original foot because I noticed, I don't know if the camera will pick this up, the serrations are different on the 2 feet, and I would want it to match the original serrations on the original tube. So I don't think that'll go on nicely. I think we'll have to take this off. And I used the original, I used the new screw. New screw was a little nicer. About that the same. So between the screw, the original plate, and what did I do with this little fudger? We'll keep these for memory's sake. I will put this on. You probably have seen this a million times, so I won't need to show that to you. I'm not going to wipe that off because I'm going to use that as guidelines for putting the new plate on, the new set of rings on, the new left and right plate of these puzzle rings. So that is today's home smithing exercise in frustration. Hopefully these are not, we'll find out real quick, these are not hella tight. No, They are not. So that is a good thing, because whoever put these rings on tightened it with unnecessary torquing for the fact that it's for a 22. Totally unnecessary, in my opinion. All right, so I figured I would blend my newly learned skill of voiceover that I'm going to demonstrate in a future video with my crate, and combine it with the finished product, since I put everything away and mounted the scope back on the old 22. So what you're seeing here is the finished product of the Weaver V22 scope with the puzzle ring replacement. It's the one on the left, and the screw that was quite broken and trashed is also the one on the left. So everything minus, as I showed you earlier, the new shoe is from the new set, which looks beautiful, and it came out perfect. And I touched it off with my OCD by ensuring that the screws are all aligned to 7 p.m. So we'll call that a wrap.